The Democratic National Convention is supposed to be in Chicago in August. In fact, it will be. But the DNC says it's going to nominate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party nominees, virtually, even before Ohio's August 7th deadline, and before its in-person convention in Chicago, which, by the way, that's August 19th. So I don't know, has this ever happened? Let's find out and talk about this. Political analyst, commentator with Young Voices, Frances Floresca, looks at this right now. Frances, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
As far as I know, I'm okay. Test results aren't in from Dr. Braccio yet, but we'll get to that. So has this ever happened before? It couldn't have happened virtually because we haven't been virtual forever.
Definitely not virtually, but this is not the first time this has happened, especially in Ohio. State lawmakers in Ohio actually have voted to move back the deadline ahead of the 2012 and 2020 party conventions in the past. So this isn't the first time that it's happened. And it's also happened this year in Alabama and Washington, but Alabama and Washington were able to fix their deadlines. So they're good, but this has also happened in Ohio.
Are we getting an education this year because it's such a strange election cycle, this presidential election? You know, before it seemed everything sort of seemed cut and dried. That's the wrong phrasing to use. Pretty and stable, maybe even the wrong word to use. But you see what I'm saying? And were our blinders on before? And now with everything the way it is, from trials going on for candidates and stuff, is it always been this topsy-turvy and we just didn't know it?
I guess we didn't know. I mean, back then I wasn't paying to politics as much. 2020, I did pay attention to politics more, but because of everything that's been going on, as you mentioned, we're probably just noticing this more now. And people are always concerned about election fraud and election integrity. So we're always just trying to see this more now. And of course, with Trump almost trying to get kicked off, when he was almost kicked off the ballot in states such as Rhode Island and Colorado, we're paying attention to this more now.
I always go back to the words hanging chads. When that became part of our vernacular, that was my first sort of glimpse into things in Florida with the George Bush. And, we didn't know who was president for a few days there. And that was my first little glimpse into. So apparently I had government class and all of that, but we do tend to think that we vote on one day and that's it. There's voting going on now. If somebody has their primary and not their primary, they're actually presidential election in September. Don't they? Somebody does.
Well, I know some people have some of theirs in September, perhaps. Maybe there are other states that we don't know of yet that still have their nominate their election in September, but the Democratic Party, they're trying to find a way to move their official nomination to before the convention and before Ohio's deadline at this point.
Yeah. It sort of takes some of the bravado out, doesn't it? It kind of takes some of the, bravado is the only thing I can come up with right there. The fanfare, all of that at the convention itself, doesn't it?
It does. I've been to a lot of conventions, not national conventions, but state party conventions, and it's just kind of exciting energy in the air when you hear about someone getting nominated. So I feel bad that the Democratic Party, and yes, I feel bad for them, that they've had to go their last two presidential elections and nominations, choosing their nominee virtually. It's not that fun, but, I hope the Democrats have all the speeches, but it's just not going to be the same.
I don't feel bad for them, but that's just me. Don't get going on that. All right, we're talking with Frances Floresca, the Young Voices. She's a commentator and a political analyst. Are the conventions going to be, do you think, actual conventions? Will we find out Donald Trump's running mate at that convention? That hasn't happened in a long time.
So Donald Trump's running mate. We'll figure out at the convention. Hopefully, we never know. That would be really cool for him to decide it then and there. But again, you never know what's going to happen. He has a lot of good potential running mates, and so far I haven't hated most of them. But honestly, I hope he chooses someone good to help him win in November, and someone can stick to really strong America First conservative principles.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. It'll be a virtual nomination of Biden-Harris. Done deal. And then, and what is the point of doing that? I don't know if we covered that really extensively. What is the point of doing that?
Well, convention, it's kind of funny. It's because, Biden and Harris are already official, but It's kind of just showing the process into play. Having attended a convention is just kind of showing the process into play, having people kind of decide on who the official nominee is, because sometimes there are other lingering candidates that other people might actually want to vote for at their convention, so their voices can be heard too. So it's like unofficially official that Biden and Harris are going to be the Democratic nominees for president and vice president, but it's more of like an official fanfare roll call kind of thing that's happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're up on time, Frances. I appreciate you guys and everybody there at Young Voices. We always have your commentaries on, and it's a pleasure. It's a tumultuous time. As I get tired of saying we're in uncharted territory, but there's no better way to put it. We're in uncharted territory, and this election cycle is going to be one for the history books, I think, already. Don't you think?
It definitely will be. Going to be. We'll see what happens in November, because it's going to be Trump versus Biden again, and hopefully we get a good result. Hopefully we'll get our country back on track the way it should be, because, oh my goodness, I'm just tired of what Biden has been doing to our country.
Frances Floresca, political analyst with Young Voices. We'll let you go. We got to hit news. Thank you so much, Frances.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See ya. Bye. 1320 WILS, Mike Austin with your morning wake-up.